The biggest thing is a lot of these decks have cards that you can't really prize too often with that Mew Genesect, so those Fusion Strike energies. That is your big way to deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, making sure that you get the most out of the VLS's Sparkle is huge here. We do see both prize cards coming down. We see a good chunk of the Arceus line in there for Rahul.
Oh no, the one buy barrel in the prizes roll only plays a 1/1 Bidoof line, so that draw power may not be useful for him earlier on in the game here, but our players are set up. There's John.
The bright lights are getting to him already. We did see in the prize cards for John, he does have that Fusion Strike energy like we were mentioning earlier, so that could come into play here as well, just having less access to those energy cards.
Along with the power tablet, being able to do that extra 30 is very key in knocking out those Arceus early. And oh no, Roll starts the Bidoof.
He's in for some bad news.
All right, y'all, are you excited? This is our first action for this weekend. Round 4, Rahul Reddy versus John Foster. And it looks like John's starting it off with a VIP Battle Pass. Not bad.
Yeah, that's right. The Battle Pass is certainly an amazing card to have. If you're having your first turn, why not start with 2? Getting into that deck, getting all these Pokemon ready to go is just gonna start to unload for that Genesect. You can get a nice full bench, and then you can start drawing upwards of those 6 cards over and over again if you can start getting through this deck here.
Well, the beauty about this Mew Genesect deck is the fact that its turn 1 is still pretty good. You can't use your supporters, of course, but the deck only plays 6 supporters, maybe 8.
Right.
And with that, you still get all the draw power thanks to that Fusion Strike system from Genesect V.
Yeah, this is fun here. The Fog Crystal means that there's access to those basic psychic energies. That is one thing that we've seen not popping up in these Mew lists because they've just focused on all of those special energy cards. So just a little bit of added consistency to potentially grab that Mew as an opener, or just go ahead and grab that basic psychic energy and play a nice early start here.
Looks like the first Fusion Strike system from the Genesect. The players look to be tapping it to tell us that they use it, which is pretty good, but oh no, how many cards did they draw?
I see 6 in hand and 5 Pokemon, so that's a sad start to what we were talking about.
This is, again, you have to do all the actions yourself, and little things like this add up, but we'll have to see what the ruling here is. Sometimes it is a double prize loss.
Yep, we've got some great staff here lined up. The judges will be taking care of this for us. So, of course, the nerves of starting, not playing for over 2 years in this live format, and then this coming up as soon as you get to start your very first turn on the stage is not what you want to see. But here we are.
Looks like is going back on top and then a shuffle.
I'm glad I caught that before he got any further.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if you should shuffle in a case like this where there's just like Genesect's gonna draw it anyways, you know. But we'll see.
And we'll clarify if there is an actual penalty or just a warning. But for right now, it was kind of unfortunate because John looks to have a pretty good turn 1 here.
Yeah, no, looking from Rahul's side, of course you don't wish this on your opponent ever, but he doesn't know that he's in a little bit of trouble with just that Bidoof.
Yeah, not the starter you want for the deck, especially with your by-barrel prize, but it is good to see a Bidoof on stream again.
On stream again, as in it's been here before? How long was I gone?
Does look like they are getting it sorted out here. Maybe a sleeve break as well.
Those are some nice sleeves. Those are not the ones you want to be breaking out here.
Well, with this matchup, so you mentioned it before, the Mew list that won Brisbane, popularized by Natalie, she had just taken out the Psychic completely, right? And threw in the 3 double turbo.
Yeah.
And it helped the mirror match immensely. And it's just kind of seen like this card is, or this deck is just impossible to really beat its consistency and its power.
Right, and the problem with the list, if there is a problem, is just the fact that you give yourself that opening to walk into a target like the special energy counters and stuff like that. But even then, when you're as consistent as that Mew list is, you have really nothing to worry about. You can just knock them out before they even get going.
All right, well, it looks like it was resolved here, and play is resumed. John finds that 5th bench Pokemon with a Quick Ball. Looks to be another Mew. And with that, we'll now be able to draw up to 6 cards with that Fusion Strike system and get things a little bit more going here. But this is a pretty good turn 1 for John's side of things.
Yeah, no, ignoring what just happened, this is exactly where you want to be if you're John. Getting to use those Genesects. Going to be very careful here on this next Genesect ability.
Yeah, just 1 card at a time. And now you're in this spot where you kind of want to thin down your hand so you can draw more cards, but you don't want to get rid of resources that you might need to get a KO next turn. And with that, John just decides to pass to Rahul and starts things off with a level ball.
Yep, Rahul finally getting to start playing some Pokemon of his own, of course, with a nice heavy Inteleon line, going to be eyeing out that Sobble. And just from there, just looking for a nice basic start here. If you could get that Arceus ready to go, of course that'd be ideal. But really not too much pressure. You know you're probably going to let up 1 prize card early in a match like this, and then you start to look for that retaliation.
The thing that's scary is, at this point, you might need 2 Arceus down just in case John actually has the insane hand of get that Mew VMAX, a few damage modifiers, get that boss's orders or cross switcher, and bring up a 2 prize Pokemon. But here we see the Ultra Ball getting a Crobat V, really just thinning down the hand because you have that Quick Ball. Yep,
in formats of old, a card like Crobat would be all over the place, and oddly enough, it just doesn't see very much play anymore. It's a fringe card, but it's nice to see using that Dark Asset ability. Of course, you got to make sure that you play all these cards in the correct order. Do not play that path, and give yourself some extra cards here as well.
Looks like not too bad of a hand here for Rahul. Draws into the path to the peak, and an Evolution Incense for next turn. So with the Sobble, we'll be able to find the rest of the Sobble in the deck, and from there, this is kind of how you want to start this game.
Yep, it looks like Rahul only with the 2 Sobble, so could be a bit of strategy trying to only have maybe some open bench space, or perhaps the other one was prize. Forget if that was in the earlier prizes there. But we did get word that for John it was just a warning to start us off. So
thankfully,
yep, nice early start. Hopefully we do not see any more of those issues popping up.
Now it's back to John's side of things. Has the Mew VMAX, so that is the big part of this deck, being able to copy any of the Fusion Strike Pokemon attacks on your bench. It allows you to Techno Blast for a ton of damage throughout the game. And there we see Ultra Ball discarding Peony and I believe another card. We're going to get another Mew VMAX, and as long as there's a switch out, which you gotta believe it's there.
Yeah.
We'll be able to attack this turn as long as he finds another energy.
Yep, this deck does love to burn, 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 and here we see that Escape Rope is going to be a way to get some access here to that Mew VMAX. Also see the Counter Gym, so of course drawing is the name of the game here, and John loves to do just that.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about the difference between the kind of standard Mew VMAX list now compared to John's here is John's was kind of the one before Natalie popularized the triple double turbo. So you're playing 2 training court as your stadium along with the Rose Tower. So you have the extra stadium in the deck, and then just being able to utilize the training court and get those psychics back from other KOs.
Yeah, definitely. It's very beneficial to make sure you have access to those energy cards, and just getting that counter stadium play is so important. We know that Rahul is lined up to make that very difficult. So if the list popularized by Natalie with only the 2 stadiums was something that we'd start to see again, that's something that Rahul is definitely looking to prey on.
Now it does look like Quick Ball was failed just to get the hand thinned down a little bit. You have double Choice Belt on both Mew VMAX. That is a great card in the matchup to try to take down the opposing Vs on Roll's side of things, even though there's just that Crobat right there.
Yep. Don't know if that's going to be a target anytime soon, but of course, we know that that is 2 easy prize cards for John when he feels like it. You are going to see that Fusion Energy, and it looks like we're going to see a few more of these as well.
Yep, you got to target with the Less of Sparkle before you search the deck. You can change depending on what you see in there, you know, so you got to do that targeting first, get on the Meloetta and the benched Mew VMAX, and now everything's pretty charged up. There's that 1 Fusion Strike Energy in the prize cards, so you know he only has 2 Psychic left, but going to be able to take a knockout on the active, and looks like a pretty good next couple of turns for John here.
Yeah, this is very clean. Going to be able to even add some extra cards here with that Genesect, get a knockout here on the Sobble, and pressure's going to be on Rahul to finally get something going.
And this is all thanks to that Path of the Peak getting discarded thanks to John's Rose Tower in hand. And that's the biggest thing for this Mew Genesect deck is its hard counter is Path to the Peak. If it sticks, you really can't do much.
Right.
But it always just, they always seem to have it.
Exactly. And of course, it doesn't really interfere with the attacking as much as we've seen like with Mewtwo decks of the past and stuff like that. So once you get a setup like this, it's definitely workable, but just having access to those cards by way of Genesect is the way to find those amplifiers. And usually that's the big key, is making sure that when you do attack, it's for knockouts.
Now here we see the Drizzile from the Evolution Incense for Rahul finds the Professor's Research, so we will see a brand new hand of 7 here coming in the next few moments, but Ultra Ball discards, I think, the double Inteleon there.
Yeah, looks like 1 of each, so.
It's all Rahul plays.
Goodbye.
And I believe, yeah, no way to fish them out of the discard, so no Inteleon for Rahul this game. Kind of an awkward hand here, but does get the Arceus with a double turbo, has that Professor's Research, and a Path to the Peak as well, so. Very smart there, actually using the Rose Tower to get that extra card, just in case it could be something.
Yep.
Now the biggest thing is Rahul does find a Quick Ball, so we'll be able to retreat and charge up another Arceus if he chooses to, which kind of has to be the plan. You need to get those cards set up. You're probably going to lose this Arceus if you attack with it anyway, just seeing what your opponent has, and try to pull something from there.
Yeah, this is the rough part of the matchup. You've already given a prize card. You're potentially going to walk into another issue soon, where even more prize cards start to fall off the board, and then you're just left with your V-Stars trying to figure it out. Of course, you can get some knockouts lined up, but yeah, this can be tricky.
Must be nice. Second Stadium to replace that Path to the Peak. Discards a Battle VIP pass with the Quick Ball. This is perfect. John is running on all cylinders here.
Yeah, this is clean. Of course, does not really care too much about the Quick Ball itself, but getting that hand thinned down, getting rid of a card like Battle VIP Pass that is completely useless is perfect here. This is how you start to thin through. You can get those energy attachments perhaps to that Mew or that Meloetta, so you can have some additional attackers lined up. And once your deck is thinned down enough, it's just damage amplifiers from that point on, and that's so easy.
I think John is digging for a way to get the Arceus in the active. Double Power Tablet. Needs to find a Boss's Orders or a couple cross switchers here.
So we're lined up. That's plus 60. We've got the Choice Belt plus 90.
Ooh,
so.
we see the Peony, and that would be able to grab both of them out of the deck. And with that is an easy knockout thanks to those Power Tablets and the belt.
Yep. Now, of course, going to have to complete this action with. Well, honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. You could go in with Meloetta if you want to. It's you've got a lot of options here if you're John.
Yeah, I guess the hard part is there's another power tablet in the hand, so if you discard that, you kind of lose a lot more damage output later on.
There's a plan. I promise you, there's a plan.
But if you find that additional fusion energy, then you just...
Well, that's in the prizes, yeah.
Exactly, but you could start to draw into those.
And promise tomorrow.
That is a fair point.
And then I will
Also,
use my last
Sparkle not needed anymore. Both of them get to the discard with Ultra Ball. Still trying to find just boss's orders here. Does not find it, and will have to peony the hand away.
Goodbye.
Oh, already had a cross switcher in there, so was digging for a cross switcher or boss's orders, missed it there. Will be able to get the last two remaining in the deck, but that means the one in the prizes, not able to be used.
Yep, and you know, when you play cards like that, you kind of know what you're sacrificing. It is difficult to line them up perfectly because you are just going to be drawing straight off the top so often. It's hard to get those cards directly in the hand if you're not an Arceus style of deck. So it's a risk you take, but this is a clean turn to do it. You get to definitely swing the tides here.
And then I'll use...
And being able to attack with that Meloetta, the Melodious Echo, taking the knockout. It's 270 damage or something like that.
Yeah, that's 270 there, and we do see in the prize cards remaining for John that fusion energy and the boss's orders. So a little unfortunate that he wasn't able to grab some of those other cards, but we do see no path to the peak in play. So looks like John should have some more options unless Rahul gets a big turn. And what better way to start a big turn than with the V-Star power?
Yeah, being able to use Star Birth to search your deck for any two cards. Just, you know, it's a pretty good ability. I must say, pretty good.
You know, I'm a big fan, and it's a great way to get through, get his combos going. The problem is he needs so much right now.
Yeah.
It was too far on that reach.
And with the search, I believe Roll got the Melanie path to the peak. That's the last path to the peak in the deck as well. So really needing it to stick, but John has another Stadium.
Yep.
There we see Ultra Ball discarding 2 water, gets another Arceus, so we'll be able to charge up to that one on the bench. And John still has 3 prizes left, thanks to taking the knockout on the Sobble earlier on. So if he really has to, needs to take both of the knockouts on the Arceus V-Stars, and that's what Raul is hoping to do here. Gets that training court free energy. Why not? You're going to bump it anyway. And then the big charm on the Arceus V-Star. So now it's going to have 310 HP. Going to be a lot harder for John to actually take the knockout, especially without the Meloetta.
Yeah, we're going to see that fusion energy fall to the discard pile. Another one is not available. So it's going to be by way of Genesec's attack to get your damage out there. There's basically no way to get to that full 310 that you're going to need for a knockout, especially with 3 amplifiers already hitting the discard pile.
And that was a very big Drizzile shady dealings from Roll, too, because remember, he doesn't have access to the Inteleon anymore. So that was the main way to search out a card from his deck. And without that, could run into some trouble, but we have that knockout, the 3 energy on the Arceus V on the bench, and with that big charm, it is a little bit harder for this Mew V to take the knockout.
And that prize card? By barrel. Ooh, let's go.
No, it's not. It's not the Krusty Krab.
Well, from this point now, you start to eye up what is the easiest way to victory. Probably looking to take out one of those V Pokemon, and then maybe an easy Pokemon knockout on the bench. So how do you go about that? You're going to need to find those bosses' orders. And
that's the hard part with the way John has built this deck.
Yeah.
There's only the 2 bosses' orders and the 4 cross-switcher, and with 3 cross-switcher already gone,
yeah,
it's a lot harder, especially with that boss and the prizes still. Whew.
Yep, it's tricky. In that case, then you're going to continue to just attack into the active Pokemon. Looks like that is going to be just what John's turn is. Showing his hand a little bit, unfortunately. He just has to. He just doesn't have anything to combat that path to the peak. So just can't do anything but attack, and Rahul loves to see that.
One thing that could be really beneficial for Raul here is if he still has that one Sharon's Care. I can't remember if he discarded it earlier or not, but that is the way to get this Arceus V-Star out of harm's way, bring up that fresh one, and deny those couple of prizes to John here. And that's really the only way he can kind of go about winning this game here.
Yeah, if you can avoid having that Arceus in the active spot now, then you make it so that John has to go after two of these bosses' orders effects. Rahul knows exactly that. Knows that his opponent is down a ton of resources currently, so just going to go ahead, retreat, protect those prize cards, and get some relevant damage onto this Mew V.
Big thing of note, too, is Rahul did not play the Marnie in his hand. John kind of had a weak hand thanks to that Path to the Peak. Does not want to give him a chance to draw into that replacement stadium here. And yeah, you have that power tablet, the cross switcher. Oh, no. That is not a hand you really want here.
It's tough.
I don't even see a second energy on the benched Mew VMAX either. And that could... Oh, no. That's very bad.
Yeah, no attacks available then, if that's the case. And that means John is going to just have to attack in again. He's putting damage where he doesn't really want it. These aren't, you're not lining up the knockouts because you need the prize cards now. So he's just going to have to do this, playing right into Rahul's game. We see the POW pad, it looks like, and maybe we are going to see some of those orders you're talking about. Yeah.
I knew he discarded it earlier on, but there is the Sharon's Care getting shuffled back into the deck. Now Rahul has the shady dealings to bring it out, and we're going to have a Sharon's Care picking up an Arceus, and that'll deny prizes for a little bit here, but this is the one way for Rahul to actually try to win this game. You kind of see a lot of these Arceus and Teleon decks tech in a few dark Pokemon, maybe the Galarian Moltres V, to really give you a good matchup or kind of a comeback potential in this match.
Yeah.
But really, Rahul's just like, I need to deny these prizes, get this thing going.
Yep, this is going to be the big turn then for Rahul. He already saw that his opponent didn't attach an energy last turn. Could be calculated, could not, you know? You're not really sure at this point, but you just have to take this knockout and hope that John doesn't find a way out. If he does find that counter stadium or the energy off the top, then that means that John is going to have access to potentially some game-closing opportunities in the future.
It all really just depends on this, I suppose.
Honestly, if John takes one prize, it could be that boss's orders and just set it up for later, and Oricorio off the top's not going to do much anything. You can't copy an attack with just that one energy. Oh, no. And then there's just giving it up. Could not finish it there. And with that, Rahul wins game one here after kind of looking a little bit bleak earlier on.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the way that this matchup can go, just because Rahul knows that he's going to be in trouble in those opening turns, as is any player playing against Mew VMAX. The deck goes hard very quickly, and it can take a lot of knockouts, and you just have to pick your turns, find those opportunities, try to stick that Path to the Peak 3 times. It took the third one to do just that, and we see Rahul starting out on top here in round 4.
Yeah, it's awkward with the cards like Cross Switcher, and you need both of them to play them. And I think the pivotal turn in that game was John just digging for that second Cross Switcher or a boss's orders, could not find it, and then having to get rid of those resources with that Peony, and then just needed that Cross Switcher later on.
Yeah, and it's tough because you're trying to make sure that you're making the most of all of your resources, but you really have no way to conserve them in a deck like this. You're burning constantly, trying to get through, trying to make it so that your deck is just those big cards that clean up games. And if you don't have them in the right order, that's kind of just the way it goes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see, but I think a lot of people watching at home maybe don't like Mew as much as, as all the people playing it here. It is one of the big bads in the format. You really either play Mew or play a deck that has a good matchup against Mew, because if you don't, it's going to be a hard time in this tournament. And we saw there, while Rahul isn't really teched out for the matchup, especially this one specifically with those basic energies, just a couple of cards can get you there. That Sharon's Care proving huge with that Pal Pad off the top.
Yeah, that's just putting in the manpower behind the scenes, trying to get all those hours in so that you can get yourself prepared for situations like this. Rahul knows that he's going to be playing against a bunch of Mews. Yeah, this one doesn't play the special energies as much, but here we are just seeing what you can do if you focus and really get all that power in.
Ooh, it looks like that Sharon's Care is in the prizes for Rahul, along with that Crobat V and an Arceus.
Yeah, that Crobat that he likes to use early on too. Not going to have access to that. John wearing those emotions on his sleeves, his eyes are really talking to us as we see all those cards coming through. Let's see if his prize cards have anything to say as well. It looks like another boss.
To go along with a basic energy and that escape rope as well. Switching outs are a big thing to look out for in this deck, just because you have these moments where you start Genesect V and it might be a little awkward to get it out, and you might have to waste a switch or two when you don't really need it.
Rahul gives the good for you, buddy, hand gesture with the opening battle VIP pass. Once again, every Mew player's dream, just getting all these Pokemon down early, and then that just opens the door for all of your other cards to start hitting the board and then drawing with that Genesect. And here we are seeing it again. Ultra Ball going to start to get rid of some of these cards. Going to lose one of those power tablets, which it's a little unfortunate here, but ultimately you're getting that setup you're looking for.
Exactly. And with that, you have 4 bench Pokemon, so this Genesect will draw up to 5 cards here, and it's where you want to be again. John looking for an energy to attach for the turn, preferably a Fusion Strike energy so you can get it on that Meloetta. And then just trying to stock up. You don't want to draw cards maybe like those power tablets that John just drew there.
Yeah, figure it out, John. Come on, man.
Well, we got that Fusion Strike energy. It's going on the Meloetta, and having the boss's orders in hand here is a little awkward as well, because with that one being prized, that's the last one in the deck. You don't want to discard that to try to draw more cards, but the supporters are the one thing that you cannot really thin your hand down without just discarding them.
Yeah, this happens a fair amount in that opening turn. When you go first, you kind of just use your Genesect and go, well, I can't play all these cards. I need a supporter to get things rolling and really start to get this hand lower. And just going to have to leave that energy on the Meloetta, hope for next turn to get something going. And Rahul, he's going to smell blood in the water. He's going to try to push.
Well, we have that Ultra Ball discarding a couple Pokemon. We're not going to see that by barrel this game, but another Arceus V does kind of signal that Rahul does have a pretty good start. Maybe a double Turbo Energy, get some energy out of the deck and get things rolling here.
Yep, with an opportunity to potentially be in around next turn, especially with that big charm there too.
What a great hand here. You have that path to the peak, that big charm like you said, and then that Professor's Research drawing a brand new hand, really needing to find a Sobble. Looks like this Ultra Ball will probably get that.
Yeah, not the way you want to grab your Sobble, but you got it.
Discarding
that's good.
2 energy.
Yeah, you know, that's not fun, but here we are. And it looks like we are going to see that Trinity triple energy down onto the Arceus. Gonna bring, no. let's spread the love. No thanks. Everybody is gonna eat it on the bench.
One thing that is gonna be a little awkward, which you kind of have to play around a lot more nowadays, is Escape Rope. Being able to bench some Pokemon that you don't mind being knocked out just for the fact that your opponent's most likely going to play this card just to switch out of their own active.
Well, that is going to be on John. He needs to figure it out here. He's got a fair amount of play in this hand. It looks like the Alyssa to start things off, so not too bad.
Yeah, that does mean 3 Fusion Strike energy will be in play, so that Melodious Echo is going to do a base 210 damage. Not enough to take the knockout on the active Arceus V-Star just yet. Would need a Power Tablet and Choice Belt maybe, but pretty good start. John will just try to have to thin the hand down and draw some cards with Genesect, do the thing that Genesect does here, and 1 Power Tablet is pretty good.
Yep. Rahul being a gentleman, marking that.
Oh, but you see that hand, that's 3 cards that you cannot play, and the 2 Battle VIP pass, those, you need to draw an Ultra Ball right now.
Oh, Counter Stadium and a Mew.
Oh no. There's a cross switcher. I don't think you can play another card in hand.
Oh,
just
he passes.
Pass of the turn. You even had another Genesect, but could not use a single card in that hand. And this is the opening roll needed. Gets that V-Star in play.
uses his opponent's training court, grabs the energy that he so wisely discarded with that Ultra Ball last turn, now had access to it, and is going to be loaded up perfectly. Even going to go ahead and use that V-Star power now. Could potentially start eyeing up removing that Meloetta, taking some knockouts. You can do a lot here.
Yeah, you grab that boss's order off that Starbirth. Now you have the option, you can go for Meloetta, get those 2 Fusion Strike energies off the board, or go for the 1 Mew.
Right.
You would have to attack with the bench, though, just because that Oricorio, I believe it wouldn't do enough damage. So yeah, just bringing up that Meloetta, taking the knockout, that takes away the big damage play that John has access.
Exactly. This is huge. Being able to remove that threat from the board. It is not coming back. John does not have access to anything to do that. And we know John's hand is not looking good. That path, along with this huge turn from Rahul, kind of just cements where he's at. But we do see that counter gem that he did have earlier on. So is he going to be able to get through? He does have an energy as well. He maybe can have access to 2 cards.
This was the one kind of rough part, because you would want to go for that Mew because it can evolve into that Mew VMAX, able to do a little bit more damage. But with that double turbo on that Arceus V-Star, lowering it by 20 damage, not really going to be able to take that knockout. But again, getting rid of those 2 Fusion Strike energies, you're fine with that.
Well, probably the best card for John there to find was that Ultra Ball.
Finally.
Even better than finding probably the cards that he's targeting, because you get rid of some of those Battle VIP pass. You get that Mew VMAX, so you have an attack lined up, and your hand is thinned. Finally, he's going to be able to draw some, hopefully, relevant cards with Genesect.
It's crazy to think about with Brilliant Stars. Everyone's talking about Arceus V-Star and all that, but man, Ultra Ball really just completely blew open this format, especially for this Mew Genesect.
Good card.
Good card. Great card, even.
You know what else is a great card? Boss's Orders.
Yeah, bringing up that Arceus V with the 3 water, and now we see the Fusion Strike systems refilling the hand for John, looking for, there we go, that choice belt that would be able to take the knockout here.
Yeah, this is a very nice turn, especially with how rough it was looking with Rahul's pretty amazing turn that he had last turn. John is going to have the perfect answer here, going to be able to take the knockout on the Arceus. And he's got the counter gem. He's got everything that he needs. So just depends on if he's going to be able to keep this up and have the stadium for the follow-up turn, as Rahul is likely going to just go right back to Peak City.
It's the one thing for this deck. And here we see the Sydney.
Give me that hand.
From Rahul. It is the tech for this deck, trying to take out a couple of special energies hiding up in the hand there.
Well, no dice.
No dice at all. And also able to discard, I believe, stadiums or tools as well.
So nothing, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost the worst news there is just doing that and then seeing like the peony and being like, oh, well, he can just grab whatever he wanted later on too.
And that is a big change for this deck, being able to peony for those stadiums that you need to bump these paths to the peaks. And you have a free hand? Okay.
Yeah, not too bad. But yeah, instead, Rahul's like, oh, shucks, I just wasted my supporter for the turn.
Oh, it'll be okay. Still got to try to just battle through this Mew VMAX. That one on the bench is probably going to get evolved pretty soon. And with the way you have it, too, even a boss's orders on that bench Mew wouldn't be able to take the knockout.
Yeah, frustrating point here for Rahul is that he's going to be trying to line up that Arceus so that he has another Pokemon to start charging up, because it looks like this Arceus V-Star is not going to be able to take all of the prize cards he needs. Unfortunately, that opens up the door for a card like Peony to go ahead and grab those cross switchers and then start taking another knockout there again.
Again, the biggest thing I really just want to emphasize for a lot of newer players and stuff too is use your opponent's stadiums. We've seen Rahul be very diligent here using those training courts and the Rose Tower, but it is just very good to have access to that.
All right. all in all, not too bad here. Rahul is going to get some nice damage down onto that Mew VMAX. You can see the prizes starting to line up for Rahul. It's going to be on John now to continue to put some pressure on. The issue is going to be it looks like you're one attack behind at this point because, yes, you could target that Arceus down. Is Rahul ever going to play down another V from that point? No. He's going to make you work through the big Arceus V-Star, and that's not going to work. You're down your fusion energies. You're down a few tablets already, so being able to make that knockout happen is going to be very tricky.
There we see the quick ball fail to search yet again, and there we see escape rope. So,
hey, send up that Arceus for me, why don't you?
A little awkward here because John will still have to take both the knockouts on the Arceus unless he has something like a cross switcher, boss's orders. Maybe we'll see something like that, but definitely going to be a little awkward trying to play the 5 prize card game here instead of 4. Ultra Ball getting rid of 2 Peony, all right.
That's one way to do it. Yeah, this is a tough spot because John does not play those turbos, so he's not going to have access to an attack from this active Mew unless he goes for the last fusion energy off an Alessa. So it's not where you want to be, and you also don't want to be wasting that attack on a Drizzile.
I think the hand is Alessa cross stitcher. Oh, he hasn't used the Genesect yet. All right.
I think we saw Fog, so at least basic Psychic available.
I mean, it's what John needed. Just being able to threaten another attack next turn, especially with the Mew VMAX just easily knocked out by the Genesect, or by the Arceus V-Star.
Right.
I don't know why I'm doing that. I knew it.
All right, John is, yes, he's going to be targeting down, I believe it's, I think there's only 1 left, right? 2 were on the Meloetta.
Yeah.
So, of course, got to go ahead and put down your targets, but should just have that 1 energy onto the active Mew V there.
So this is what John has been needing to do. Just keep the stream of attackers going. You're down to 4 prizes right now, able to take a prize here. I believe they still have 2 more draws, so emptying out the hand a little bit more. Double cross stitcher, switcher in hand.
Yep. Too many cards for the Rose, but yes, gets to use the switcher there. Getting out of the way is that 1 Mew, and it looks like the big push is happening here with the Genesect now.
Finds the power tablet, so could take the knockout with the Mew VMAX on the bench. If they choose to, kind of saving the Mew VMAX that's a little bit damaged. And it looks like that might be the route to victory here for John. Able to take the knockout on the active Arceus V. And from there, looking pretty good. Rahul's going to need to draw a lot of different cards to kind of break this board state.
Yeah, this was very nicely done by John. It didn't have to use too many resources. Of course, lined them up very well. And then look at that, he's going to find that boss's orders. So if he does want to start to target around this Arceus, he's going to have access to just that.
Does opt for the shady dealings in Teleon, able to search for 2 trainer cards from the deck. Straight upgrade from the Drizzile, and it's going to need to be a pretty good 2 cards here, honestly. Maybe boss's orders to try to take down that Mew VMAX. It's really going to be quite a few things.
Yep, just looking through, seeing what is going to be the route here for Rahul. Things definitely turned around with John's huge turn there. Being able to take the knockout with a completely different Mew, a Mew VMAX that wasn't around last turn. John has made the most out of a ton of resources there.
Biggest thing for Rahul, he needs to find another Arceus and then maybe a Big Charm.
Yeah.
And then hope to fade boss's orders from John, but opting for that quick ball and a Marnie here, so just discards, I think, Professor's Research there. Grabs that Arceus V, will be able to charge it up if there's still water energies left in the deck. Otherwise, we'll just have to rely on that double turbo energy. And this is where you kind of just have to hope and pray.
Yeah, it's a big risk, but I think it's warranted at this point. Just because if you get the Path Marnie locked in, you get an energy, you're going to get those energies onto your Arceus, of course. So you're going to have access to it. You just need to find that V-Star on the following turn. And then you have two Pokemon that are very likely to not get knocked out. That's how you get that additional turn back that John stole from you previously.
Along with some Charon's Care shenanigans.
Yep.
Does not look like Rahul found an energy, but I do think I see the big charm. It might just be an Ultra Ball. They're all a little bit gold.
Yeah, just it just speaks to how big a turn it was for John to be able to have a completely different Mew VMAX in the active spot there. Just because this means Rahul's essentially going to be wasting an attack here, getting that damage onto a Pokemon that potentially could have been a knocked out V or the V Max on that other Mew. That'd be 3 prizes or 2 prizes on the other side, and then you're just targeting 1 more knockout. Instead, he's got 2 knockouts that are 3 prizers that he's eyeing down, and that takes time.
And time with a deck like Mew, VMAX, Genesect, you don't really have a lot of it. They're going to go through their turns pretty fast. The only time you really have is sitting there watching your opponent draw a bunch of cards.
All right, so in situations like this, when it starts to look pretty grim and you start to remember, hey, 350 people tied, do you start to think, you know what, maybe I take these 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, or whatever you think you have, and try to win another game, or are we content with a tie here? Because John could definitely pull this out and give us a short game 3.
John will need to retreat the active just because it used Techno Blast the last turn here. So does notice that, brings up that Mew, and will be able to attack, put some damage. And the important thing to note is Rahul did not find any basic water energy to charge up that Arceus V on the bench. So if he does try to go for like a Charon's Care play, it would not work.
All right, looks like we do see the Techno Blast again. Rahul acknowledging that he needs to get something else going. So going to draw a few cards along with get that attachment from the Melanie.
Probably going to see a retreat from the active as well. You really just cannot have it be up there to get that KO. Second V-Star. Pretty important, and that is Rahul's only damage output in this deck, and it's been really hampered by the Oricorio. It stops the knockouts taken on stuff like the Mew V and Genesect.
Guess a benefit here for Rahul, seeing that John is on a pretty low hand size. That path does look like it is going to stick. Now just needs to find some additional attacking power. And that is not it.
Oh no, and it looks like I believe double turbo or something was not left in the deck. Rahul did just not have a way to keep attacking there, and with that, they're going to game 3 with not much time left.
Yeah, and this has been a trend that we've been running into. Of course, we don't get to watch every game. We don't know what's happening, but we see results. Results say that a lot of these players are earning 1 point per match, which means they're tying. And it seems like a fine point when you're already 3-0. Sometimes you do take that, and you go, okay, that's going to happen here and there, but you gotta understand where your outs are. Of course, for both these players, playing it as best they can to get themselves in an opportunity to win on stream in the first regional back in years. And sometimes this is just going to be the way it goes. Rahul really was a turn or 2 away from winning if he had the resources. And John, it was looking grim in spots until he was able to have that real clean turnaround with that fresh new Mew VMAX.
And honestly, with the way both decks are built, it really benefits John in this kind of match with the amount of time remaining. Granted, there is some turns where John could just take the full 6 minutes.
Yeah, yep, that's definitely something that can happen here. And I guess one thing to note is we do have those +3 turns that go on. That's 2 turns, and John plays a deck that wins games in 4 turns. So you could see some big turns coming up. It just depends on how this situation goes, how early these guys get their hands lined up and ready to play. Looks like 6 minutes to go, and Rahul is drawing that hand, so both players should be going for the win here. We'll see what they've got for us and how fast they can get things going here in the last game of round 4.
It looks like a Crobat V start for Rahul. Not really what you want to see here, especially it's the only Crobat in the deck.
That's a big sad. We see.
Oh no, and the Bidoof is prized. That is all the draw power that Rahul has access to.
Oh.
Meanwhile, we see a Genesect, a Mew, and a Fusion Strike energy in the prizes for John. So both players kind of have a little bit of worrisome things in the prizes or in play, but Rahul trying to make the best of it here, starting first.
Yep, we do see that quick ball starting off. Gets that water energy into this card pile, knows that his opponent does have Train Court, so could have access to that energy later on. Could potentially have energies already in hand, so could be fine just there. And gonna start off with that Arceus V, which is definitely beneficial. Very hard to knock that thing out while it's on the bench when your opponent is going second. So hopefully we get to see that thing stick around and turn into a V-Star.
Usually, right?
Yeah, we say it, but honestly,
with
John could.
Cross switchers in John's deck, and then the thing about Rahul's hand here is was unable to play around Escape Rope.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's a big point. Yeah, this could be very scary. Rahul does not have very much going on.
Double battle VIP pass yet again for John here. Gets almost the full gambit of what he would need, and the only thing missing now is the Alessa Sparkle.
Yet John's never waited in line a day in his life. He says that is not how we do things here. I'm going to get all of these Pokemon out. I've got triple Genesect lined up, so I'm going to draw all the cards I want. And honestly, we could see that knockout on the Arceus. That would be something.
And that Oricorio is huge yet again. You saw how much of a difference it and its ability made in the last game, just forcing the Arceus to only do 160. And there's that Escape Rope.
Oh, man.
Step 1. Double power tablet. Oh no, John is going for it here. Fusion Strike energy, that's good to draw it before you draw the Sparkle. We know there's 1 prize, so you still have the 3. You have all the resources to do it. The only problem was if you draw another Fusion Strike energy here.
That was not a glitch on your screen, people. That was 4 minutes being added because of the stoppage that we had at the beginning of the first game. So that was something that they were tracking at the table. We just got a word of that and added that here for you. So a little extra time here to work with. Not as scary as before, but
depending on these draws, I don't know if we're going to even need it.
Who cares? Yet John might not care because he's going in so much attack power here lined up. Going to start, looks like the first Genesect, second Genesect now.
Oh no! Drew the Fusion Strike energy. That means it's
not
prized? Possible. Yeah, 1's prized.
Anything's possible.
Okay, well, you got the Choice Belt. There's 2 power tablets played, so that's an extra 90 damage. But with 2 of them, you're doing 230. You need that 4th power tablet or 3rd power tablet?
Not a math scientist. But that's starting to sound correct.
So Melodious Echo does 70 for every Fusion Strike energy you have in
140,
play.
90, 230, you got to hit 250. So you're down, you need 1 more.
And you have to avoid drawing the last Fusion Strike energy.
You don't stop saying that. You're not making it any easier for him. Oh, we see another battle.
Oh,
Stop.
no.
That's insane. Oh, man. Why did you put this out?
Well, it's been a couple years, but the commentator curse is back.
It never left. We just weren't around to do it.
Oh. This is worst case scenario for John here. And with the extra time added, this benefits Rahul. And Rahul's hand is going to be amazing now.
All right, so we see it looks like the Ultra Ball is available. That means that we can see that Arceus V-Star, it is going to have a knockout lined up on this Genesect. So,
No, not yet. No, it's still... Rahul still needs that Galarian Zigzagoon in his deck.
Oh,
that
yes,
10.
we have the 20 reduction, yes. So, well, you know what?
No, not even, because of the double turbo. So he cannot knock out this Genesect.
Okay.
We'll need to boss's orders that Meloetta to take the knockout.
Oh, even the Oricorio, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's plenty of reductions going on here.
Just going for the professor's research here to go along with that path to the peak, hoping that John is not able to bump it. You have the quick ball, finding another Arceus, so you have something to charge up into. Who needs Sobbles right now? And this Arceus is just going full power, 2 energy only. I believe that's because Rahul drew a few of them in his hand as well.
Yep, get some nice damage down onto the Genesect. Would have been a little bit nicer if he had some Sobbles. Maybe you could start to line up some of those quick shootings if you eventually get to that point in this game. That is probably going to be winding down pretty soon. But ultimately, you're in a pretty fair spot knowing that John got nothing going last turn.
Those 2 power tablets wasted. Just unable to find that sparkle before these Fusion Strike energies were drawn into the hand. You have that second one on that Meloetta, but no switch out in hand. And Rahul senses the weakness,
there
has
it
that
is.
boss's orders. And this is disturbing.
Yeah, it's really tough, and ultimately for Rahul, it's a good attack on the Meloetta in terms of not losing, but in terms of winning, it's pretty hard because you want to take out these Vs and V Maxes. Taking a single prize card isn't very great, but with how slow everything's going on John's side, you have to get rid of the threat. Now it's just, is there enough time for Rahul? It doesn't look like John's going to have as big of an opportunity as Rahul has to clean this game up.
Well, there we see the Mew VMAX, and remember, there's no double turbo energy in John's list, so we're not going to see an attack here. A retreat to another Genesect. It can hold its own against this attack, but for how long? There we see Professor's research. Rahul's going to dig through yet again.
Yeah, and it's really on Rahul now to turn things up. Has to get the Sobble down, get that going quickly, because he is going to need to get quick shooting, most likely, to clean up these Genesect. Get them on the right turn so that he can clean this game up. He's going to get relevant damage onto a Genesect once more, but it's not beneficial in the fact that you're not taking down, you're not taking these prize cards that you need.
And the fact that you need 2 quick shootings to take a knockout on a Genesect with 160, I don't know if Rahul will have enough time. But with the way John's been drawing too, no switch out in hand, drew a boss's orders for the turn. Has that Peony though, so we'll be able to get a replacement stadium, a switch if he chooses to, and we'll be able to finally get an attack off after what seemed like an amazing turn 1 shaping up to be.
Yeah. Respect to John for keeping the pace, making this a game that can potentially see its way out, even though he is in a difficult spot here. Honestly, could be thinking about the win. He's in a not terrible spot. He's got that Mew now, and he's finally going to be able to put it into the active spot. Has the counter stadium, going to be able to draw some cards here. So things are turning around, but do you have enough to get this done is the problem, and I don't know. You're going to have to start to find cards like that choice belt, cards like those power tablets to get this knockout, and you'd have to find every single one of them left to take a knockout on this V-Star.
That is true. Drew into one of the power tablets. You see Choice Belt in his deck as he's searching through. Fails that Evolution Incense. And we're going to be trying to draw a little bit more cards here. Supporter has already been used for the turn. I think I see a battle VIP pass in that hand. Not too good.
Not as
Maybe
good this turn.
A couple supporters as well. So unable to thin the hand down more. 3 more cards. Looks like, oh no. Mew boss's orders and then drew the
Stop.
6th card. No.
That's.
I went like this.
Oh. Okay.
Rahul said, don't worry about it. Let's go.
31 seconds left. Can Rahul even take these 5 prizes in time? And with that attack, the way the time rules work is you need to draw your opponent to draw before the time runs out to have them be turn 0. So right now, as it stands, Rahul is going to be turn 0, and then we have 3 additional turns to find a winner here. Otherwise, it's going to end in a tie.
Yeah. So the way this looks currently, Rahul could get to 180 damage onto the Mew. Then he has eyed up potentially Zigzagoon in combination with a quick shooting onto a knockout for the Genesect. So there is a route to victory in 2 turns. The problem is you need to make sure that you have all that ready to go right now, because there is no more time.
And there's just a little bit of shortcutting there from Rahul. Retreats, gets the energy back with that training cord.
Oh my goodness!
Oh
triple,
no!
Triple Zig.
Woo!
Huge.
Saving those scoop up nets, being able to grab those 2 prizes right away. And with this, Rahul is setting himself up very nicely to be able to take this game out in time.
Yeah, now there's access to even more, because the quick shooting isn't even a necessity anymore. You could find maybe another way to pick up that Zigzagoon. You don't even need to perform an attack to knock out the Genesect, and then you could find boss's orders on an easier knockout, perhaps as like the Oricorio.
Yeah, you saw Palpad shuffling back a boss's orders. Rahul has that Sobble to hopefully find a Drizzile to search for it next turn. Damage on that Mew VMAX. It's the only attacker John has available to him. Does have a Fog Crystal. Could maybe shuffle the Mew VMAX back into the deck, kind of take away those 3 prizes. Bring up a Genesect, make it harder for Rahul to knock out. Rahul only has 1 turn remaining if the time is to be believed.
Yep, yeah, we did have we got confirmation that time was called. This is turn 1 for John. He does not. Oh yeah, he has the energies, but he's not gonna hide. He's going for it. I don't know what he's going for.
No, you have to Psychic Leap here and shuffle back that Mew VMAX. You do not want to give up those 3 prizes to Rahul. Oh, finally Alessa's.
Oh, what am I saying? I see the fusion now. I didn't see the fusion earlier. I'm like, he only has 1 energy. What's happening? But yeah, of course, going to be shuffling that back in, thankfully. It's like, that energy attachment was a little sketchy, but no, that's going to be just fine. Now it is back on Rahul. It is going to have to be some wild combination to get this off the board.
Honestly, looking through everything, I think they're just trying to decide when you promote. But looking through everything in Rahul's list, I don't think there's a way for him to actually take the game, and it might end in a tie. Yeah, it's looking like that, with Rahul being turn 2 of 3 here. Having used already both of the scoop-up nets, you do not have any more Galarian Zigzagoon plays with Headbutt Tantrum, and I think it's just a matter of time. Yeah, you can retreat, knockout. Yeah, not really sure, but once we figure it out.
Oh, it's right there. Yeah, it's it's so close. And one more scoop up net if he had access, but even then, it doesn't have room for it. He's got only the 2 in the list there. So did everything that he could. Of course, we saw how close time really did get for both of these players. John just did not get very much going that game and was 1 turn off from potentially losing that 1 point, but is going to squeak out that 1 match point there for himself. So all in all, fair way to start.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut for the big important turns. That was heartbreaking to watch both of those Fusion Strike energies being drawn.
Oh yeah.
And John plays 4 Elsa Sparkles, could not find one of those in those 3 draws beforehand, and such a weird turn of events, but It was just really great to see.
Yeah, and you know, as you're talking about it from the booth here, or watching it as many people are right now, you put yourself in their position and you go, well, they're doing everything they can. They've got all these resources, everything lined up, but if they don't fall in the right order, you see what happens. That was not up to John in any way possible. He did everything he was supposed to do, thinned down as best he could, drew the cards, and they just happened to be the worst thing in existence.
Yeah, Mew as a deck is all about sequencing, and if you mess up one of those, it could be disastrous later on in the game. But it is just unfortunate to see there just your 4 of cards getting drawn one after another, one being prized. Everything had to go wrong for that amazing turn 2 to be null and void, and it happened, and Roll was able to make a game out of it and force that tie.
Well, both of these players are going to fall into the pit of despair with over 3